sincerely hope that when Naresh Bhatt finally goes to trial for what he did to Mamta Kafle, that the prosecution spends time talking about financial abuse. So to this comment, the answer to the question of who gets money from the house sale is not Naresh, not anybody who has to do with that, because that house was sold in October in a foreclosure auction. So it is under a new ownership. So they're getting the money from this current house sale. But let's talk about what Naresh did when he bought this house. When Naresh Bhatt bought the house in Manassas Park in 2023, he bought it for $705,000. He took out a loan for $564,000. I also talked in one of my videos way back about how he did a 15-year loan and how dumb that was. So his payment would have been really high. I don't know what his interest rate was, but based on the time period, I would guess that his mortgage payment on this amount for a 15-year loan, could have been like $6,000 a month. But that's not the red flag. This is the red flag. Tenants in severalty. I've also talked in previous videos, again, this is all on a playlist, that when he bought the house, not only was Mamta not on the mortgage, which honestly is not a red flag. I'm not on my mortgage because I'm a 1099 employee and it was just less complicated for my husband to only be on the mortgage. But my husband and I are both on the deed and we are tenants in entirety, meaning that if one of us were to die, that the house would automatically go to the other one. We wouldn't have to go through probate or anything like that, right? It's just automatic. And if we were to get divorced, it's marital property and the profits from the sale would have to be split, etc., etc. That is not what Naresh did. And he did this on purpose because what I just described is how home sales are prepared by the title company by default. So in order to do something different, you need to make an effort to do something different. And that's what he did. So let's talk about what tenancy in severalty means. It's a real estate term describing a property that only has one owner. It is sole and separate. And this is what makes me so angry. The sole owner has the freedom to do anything with the property in question. They can choose to sell it, gift it, lease it to tenants, or transfer it to heirs without having to gain permission from any other parties. And we know that Naresh was already doing that. He had had people over. He was preparing to sell that house at the time of Mamta's disappearance, and he was doing it without her. And now here's where the financial abuse aspect of this comes in, because Naresh also told those cops that came to his door that he didn't have a job. He had been fired from GDIT, meaning that Mamta, for at least part of this time, was the sole breadwinner. And even when he did have a job, and again, I don't know exactly how much either of them made, I know that she did contribute significantly to their household income. This man made it so this house was completely under his legal control, but her money, I guarantee you, was still going toward paying that mortgage, that very expensive mortgage. He was making her go to work, leave her baby, so that she could make money to pay for a house that she had no legal claim to. And then he tried to sell it out from under her. Now, it eventually went into foreclosure. Again, like I mentioned in previous videos, it was sold at auction for $600,000. That's not much more than, his original loan was for. And with all of the penalties, late fees, I don't know. I don't know if any money was to be made. I think it all just went to the bank. He didn't end up getting anything from it, but he tried. And I think that this is just one example. And I think if you dig, there will be many more examples of the financial abuse that Mamta Kafle had to endure, in addition to the physical abuse that we've already talked about, the mental abuse, everything else that that poor woman went through in this horrible marriage at the hands of this terrible man.